Here it is, everyone. The news that you have all been patiently waiting for. The full breakdown and spoilers of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie is here. This will be full of spoilers, so if you do not want anything spoiling, then be sure to click off and check out the video later. Otherwise, the entire movie is about to get ruined for you. So now that you've had enough warning, here we go. The movie starts off with a 6-month flashback, and we see Magenta and Carmine wanting to recruit Dr. Hedo, who turns out to be actually the grandson of Dr. Gero, when we see a little flashback tidbit of a little bit of a backstory of where he's from and what he's all about and stuff, and they show that Gero is his grandfather, and that a new character, technically speaking, called Vomi, or Vomi, otherwise known as Android 21, was actually Jero's wife. They're going to show Gebo, which was another one of Jero's sons, and he was revealed to be the basis or the actual creation of Android 16. He was revealed. We see that Dr. Hedo is locked up, he's in prison, and the Red Ribbon Army come to meet him when he gets out and basically say, hey, you need to come and join us because there is this worldwide threat, otherwise known as the Capsule Corp, and they have sided with some aliens, and this is why they have all this insane, crazy technology. They're a threat to the world, and we need your help in order to beat them. As much as people think that we are the bad guys, we're not the bad guys. We're actually the good guys that are trying to beat the bad guys. He unbelievably joins them and believes everything they have to say. I guess when you've been in prison all a few years or whatever it's been, that, you know, you're going to have some resentments towards things. And if someone's dripping some bait and some stuff like they've announced in front of him this quickly, he's going to go for it immediately. So then we fast forward to the present day, and we see that Piccolo is training a 3-year-old Pan who's asking a lot of questions about her dad. She's asking things like, is it true that he was actually stronger than her grandpa, Goku? And Piccolo's like, yeah, like he used to be legitimately stronger than everybody. He was the strongest guy that we had to offer. And Pan seems kind of taken aback by it, and she's just like, yeah, that it doesn't sound believable compared to what she knows of her dad. Anyway, she needs to go to kindergarten. She has to break off from the training, and she literally sprints away into the distance to go to kindergarten, leaving Piccolo on his own. At which point, he gets a call from Videl, and Videl says, hey, since you've been looking after Pan all day, would you mind picking her up from kindergarten at the end of the day? Piccolo's like, well, why the hell can't Gohan do it? To which she responds that Gohan's busy in his research involving insects and a bunch of other stuff. So Piccolo says, you know what? I'm going to go speak to Gohan myself. He flies over immediately to Gohan to say, what is this all about? Why is your research more important than picking up your own daughter after she's finished at school? And he swings for Gohan in kind of frustration, and all that Gohan has to offer is this weak block to stop him from being hit by Piccolo, and he instantly pushes him back and says, oh, it's kind of pathetic. This guy that was once the strongest, he is how he is now. He puts on his old training gi that he had with Piccolo. Piccolo uses his clothes beam, and he says maybe that should spark some memory and remind you of what you were once fighting for and what you were once capable of. But he's like, yeah, fine, whatever. Leave it as it is. I will go collect Pan at the end of the day. So after this point, Piccolo goes back home, and he's meditating on a rock near his house, or even a cliff, I guess you could say it is. We've seen this in the trailer. Or many trailers actually by now. And then all of a sudden, he's disrupted by Gamma 2, who refers to Piccolo as Demon King Piccolo. And Piccolo kind of shrugs it off and laughs about it and says, no. I just go by the name of Piccolo these days. And to which he sees the Red Ribbon logo on his arm and says, well, he picks up the fact that there's no key. There's no key signature coming from this guy. And he's like, Red Ribbon logo, no key signature. I'm betting you're an android. To which Gamma 2's like, well, you're very well informed, aren't you? So they end up fighting, and he basically announced that he has been sent to kill Piccolo. The fight continues, and after a huge key blast that Gamma 2 offers, it creates a lot of dust and debris kind of thing, and Piccolo uses this to get out of the way. Whilst Gamma 2 is checking for a live signature, he doesn't find anything and leaves the area. Now, Piccolo is fine. He manages to get out of the attack, but he follows Gamma 2 back to the Red Ribbon headquarters. Upon arriving to the Red Ribbon headquarters, Piccolo goes through this kind of like tunnel situation after taking out a guard and stealing his clothes so he can blend in. And it's like shrouded in this camouflage shield. So the outside world can't actually see the base, even though it's there in plain sight. He's then led towards like the main headquarters, and here's a conversation between Magenta, Dr. Hedo, and Carmine talking about Cell Max. Dr. Hedo's kind of like, well, I'm kind of, I'm involved more in my Gamma project right now. I can like infinitely replicate the Gamma androids and just, make an army of them. But it seems that Magenta, who is the leader of the Red Ribbon Army at this point, is basically saying, no, this is the project that I want. I want it live now. Why haven't we got it live? And Hedo basically says, it's not ready. It's not ready. The project is not finished. It's not done. It hasn't got its own thoughts. Its brain isn't like kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's the brain hasn't been created and developed correctly yet. It's just a mindless monster at this point. We see a kind of camera angle pan round to Cell Max, and Piccolo is looking in at this giant tank which contains him, and Piccolo gets what can only be described as the fear. He gets the outright pure fear and remembers all the awful things that Cell did in the past, and he knows that this is a terrible thing. He eventually makes his way out of the base and calls Bulma. Bulma gets the message and thinks, damn, we need to inform Vegeta and Goku about this immediately. This is seriously bad. This is like a terrible problem if Cell's back. And he's on a monstrosity size of what he used to be. But there's a problem. Bulma tries to contact Whis, only to find out that his staff is covered in ice cream, and the message doesn't go through. So then we have a quick segue through to Beerus' world, and we see Goku is sparring with Broly. Whilst he's sparring with Broly, he stops for a moment and asks Vegeta why he isn't joining in. We see that Vegeta is meditating, similar to that what Jiren did in the Tournament of Power, and he goes on to say that he is training, however, he's doing it differently. He's trying to remain more focused on the matter, as he feels that is how Jiren was able to be such a huge difference between Goku and Vegeta. He was so focused and pinpointed on what his fighting involvement was, that is one thing that hugely set them apart, and it wasn't actually a strength matter. He basically says that by the end of it, they had the strength to beat him, which is an interesting pointer. It's an interesting thing to know. But Whis actually confirms this. He backs it up and is like, Vegeta, you're absolutely right. You guys are so out of sync and unfocused that, yeah, you're right. You're completely right. That is exactly what you guys need to do. At this point, we see Limo and Chilai appear, and Beerus wakes up from a 4-month nap. That's what you can call a nap. I wish I could sleep for 4 months, to be honest, but nope, it's a nap. And there is food on the horizon, and Beerus refers to Chilai as cute and offers her the home of Beerus's world for as long as she deems fit. I don't know whether this is creepy or whether this is reciprocal. I just don't even want to get into this. This is some weird fan fiction kind of stuff, right? So anyway, they get into a big feast, and by the end of it, Whis then says, hey, Goku and Vegeta, why don't you guys spar against each other? Go all out. However, there's no transforming and no ki blasts. Goku and Vegeta both agreed to this, but Goku says, hey, this is fine, but I don't want Broly getting involved. He's still not got control of himself, and he doesn't want that distraction between Goku and Vegeta's bout. Now, it starts off and Vegeta seems to be winning, but then it kind of becomes more of an even battle between the two. And then Beerus notes that Vegeta's movements appear different to usual. From this point, we get a quick change of pace and we go straight back to Earth, and we see Piccolo then going to see Dende to ask Dende if he can unlock Piccolo's potential in the same sense that Guru did. Dende says due to not being an elder that he can't actually do this. It's an ability that you gain more later on in life, but he says that Shenron can do this. He then upgrades Shenron by like pouring some water or something onto this glass dome which has got the stone dragon inside it. Apparently that's how you upgrade a dragon. I never knew. I don't think anybody ever knew. This just seems kind of weird, but hey, if it works, it works. Dende then goes to say that he wants to make the wish. Bulma is actually in possession of all 7 Dragon Balls. So Piccolo immediately gets in contact with Bulma and says, yo, you've got the Dragon Balls. Do you mind if I have one of these wishes? Bulma has no objection to this, so he goes and meets up with her. So they summon Shenron. Piccolo makes his initial wish and says, Shenron, I want my potential unlocked so I can push myself even further, kind of thing, and just go even further beyond. I'll say the line, I don't care. And then Shenron grants the wish, but he also says, your wish has been granted, and he's also added something extra. We find out more about this later on. But then there's the remaining 2 wishes, and Bulma uses them to continue her journey on, well, if you want to call it a journey, it's more of an obsession, to look younger and youthful once again, just like she had been doing in the previous movie, and she wishes for a firmer butt and slightly longer eyelashes. Piccolo is absolutely shocked at this, using a mythical dragon for cosmetical improvements. It's kind of ridiculous. She's got the money for plastic surgery, but she flat out refuses it, I guess. At this point, Piccolo now goes back to the Red Ribbon base, feeling well more equipped than what he was in the first place. They basically walk into a situation where they announce that Gohan is the next target on their hit list. But then Piccolo kind of puts himself forward, knowing that, you know, he knows the whole ordeal, and is like, hey, I'll get involved in this. I volunteer myself. And the plan seems to be kidnapping Pan in order to draw Gohan out. Now, Piccolo kind of likes his idea in a kind of twisted, sadistic way, because he wants it to motivate Gohan to get off his ass and essentially become what he once was, the strongest that the Earth's warriors had to offer. The Red Ribbon Army give him the job, along with a bunch of others, and they send them off to go collect, or should I say, kidnap Pan. Now, here's the thing. Every single Red Ribbon Army guard gets completely knocked out by this 3-year-old until she notices that one of the guards is, in fact, Piccolo. He basically kind of, you know, hints at the situation of what's going on and basically asks her to pretend to be kidnapped. They jump onto this Red Ribbon ship to fly out of there. Piccolo's no idea how to fly it, and he's just hitting one thing after another. He's no idea. And Pan is in handcuffs, and as much as she could easily just snap out of them at any second, they record some kind of footage to basically have her pretend, hey, oh no, I've been abducted, I'm kidnapped, help me, help me, help me. And this video gets shown to Gohan, and this is the catalyst to get him motivated. Gohan then appears at the Red Ribbon's base and faces himself against Gamma 1. Now, Gohan, in his current base form against Gamma 1 is leaps and bounds stronger. So Gohan pushes to Super Saiyan. The fight continues, and Gamma 1 is still getting stronger and showing more improvement as the fight goes on than Super Saiyan Gohan. At this point, Piccolo's kind of witnessing what's happening, and he's the one that's holding Pan hostage, and he tells Pan to scream as though she's in pain and in danger, and this gives Gohan the push to go back into his ultimate form. With this, he kicks Gamma 1's ass, but Hedo notices the difference in power, and he sends in Gamma 2 to join. Now, Piccolo thinks, hey, this isn't fair. 2-on-1? Alright, this guy was a problem in the first place, now there's 2 of them. So Piccolo powers up and unleashes his potential, and also joins in the fight. Within time, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 seem to not only be matching, but beating Piccolo, as well as giving Gohan a run from his money. And then Piccolo remembers, at a point of almost being beaten to a pulp, what Shenron said about giving him something a little extra. He then summons this vibrant orange light around him and transforms further into what he literally calls Orange Piccolo. So his skin turns orange, he grows taller, and he has like a black outline or black like aura around him, if you want to call it an aura. And then the fight continues. Gamma 2 hits Piccolo with a punch either straight in the face or the chest. I can't confirm that. And he literally doesn't even budge. He doesn't flinch or nothing. And he literally levels Gamma 2 with a single punch and takes him out. Around this time, we have Bulma turn up on a Capsule Corp ship containing Krillin, Android 18, Trunks, and Goten. Gohan rushes up to Piccolo and basically says, Piccolo, what the hell was that form? What's this all about? And he's like, I don't care. Just call it Orange Piccolo. That'll do fine for now. And then he throws a Senzu Bean at Gohan to kind of recover, but Gohan actually misses the catch. Now, is it because he's not wearing his glasses, or is it because they just want to, remind him of that one time he dropped the Potara earrings? Who knows? At this point, you've seen one of the Gamma droids get absolutely beaten by one punch. Magenta is now panicking and says he wants to release Cell Max. He reveals his cyborg form and shoots to Dr. Hedo, who's trying to stop him from doing it so he can get his own way. But what he doesn't know is Hedo is actually wearing a bulletproof suit. The armor that he's wearing, or should I say the superhero suit that he's wearing, is actually bulletproof. He must have designed it himself, as of course you'd expect from some kind of genius mastermind, right? But he summons his little wasp robot, Hiramatsu, I can't remember the name of it. He summons his little droid wasp, and it stings Magenta with a poison. Now, Magenta is on his last legs, and as he's just about to die, he manages to punch through the glass and hit the activation button on Cell Max. At this point, it's a scene that we have seen in the trailers. It's the pod being released. It's Hedo screaming, oh crap, it's all happening. I don't want this to happen kind of thing. And everything bursts open. We see a giant hulking figure, which resembles second form Cell, all encased in red instead of green, with glowing red eyes. And instead of an absorption tail like the sucker that he used to have, it's like a mace or a spiked club for swinging around. This guy is like, all I can say is, imagine Hirudegarn, second form Cell, red, with a mace for a tail, the size of Hirudegarn. That's the best way I can put it from what I'm hearing. But this guy has still got no mind. He is completely mindless. He is an unfinished project that cannot speak words, only let noise. Upon being let loose, he screams out, and all this purple energy that I'm pretty sure that we have seen in the trailers, it looks like Boo's human extinction attack, bursts out absolutely everywhere, destroying everything. It destroys the Red Ribbon base. It just wrecks everything. And we see Pan trying to run desperately away from it. She still can't fly, and she's trying to pick up the pace, and eventually she manages to push herself and fly out of the area, so she learns to fly for the first time, and it's just a dramatic scene. By this point, Gamma 1 and 2 even get involved and this thing is a threat. We are superheroes, and we must eradicate the threats. And they say that Dr. Hedo has made a fail-safe weak spot in its head. This is the information that everybody needs to go on. At this point, we have an all-out brawl, and we see everybody fighting against Cell Max, starting with Goten and Trunks fusing and failing miserably. They turn into fat Gotenks. So what they do is they use it to their advantage. They use him like a volleyball, and they're bouncing him off attack after attack of Cell's head, trying to destroy this kind of membrane situation with this failsafe in it. But Cell Max goes absolutely wild, releasing these purple beams from all of the spots over his body, and just chaos everywhere. Just all these purple blasts and beams everywhere. And then Gamma 2 responds by flying up really, really high into the atmosphere and says he's risking his life to go out in an all-out attack and dive bombs back down to Cell Max. I don't want to get them mixed up. But with this blue aura forming around him as he's going as fast as he can, and he shoots through one of Cell Max's arms, and he literally takes off his arm. So that's one arm down. He still has another arm, but he swats him away like a fly to the ground, and then he tries to squash Gamma 2 under his foot. Piccolo bursts back into his orange form and flies down to the foot to try and hold it off of Gamma 2 to stop him from being crushed. And even Krillin flies down to help hold this foot away from Gamma 2 and stop him from being killed. Krillin then reminds Piccolo about his giant form. Piccolo legitimately responds by saying that he forgot he had this form, and he transforms and uses his giant form to go toe-to-toe, head-to-head, hand-to-hand with Cell Max to keep him at bay. Gohan flies up by Piccolo and basically says, is this enough now to win? Can you beat him? And Piccolo responds by basically saying, this size is irrelevant. It's more of a bluff technique. However, it's holding him in place, but strength-wise, he is still stronger. Piccolo with one arm, keep in mind Cell's only got one arm as well, he reaches into where the Senzu beam would be inside of his gi. Now keep in mind this thing is tiny compared to him now. He's huge and this Senzu beam is like a dot in his hand. He passes it to Gohan and he tells him that he is the last hope. Upon taking the Senzu beam, Piccolo reads out an identical speech to what Goku told Gohan during the Cell Beam struggle when he turned Super Saiyan 2, and he was the one with one arm, not Cell, it was him with one arm, finishing him off with that Kamehameha back in the Cell Games saga. Everyone is getting pummeled while Gohan is charging up and trying to take on as much as he can before he begins the fight, during which Cell Max blasts Piccolo into oblivion, into the air, and he catches his lifeless body on the palm of his hand as he falls back from the sky. He has no pupils, his body is just lifeless, and at this point, Gohan is triggered. Mimicking his potential unleashed Super Saiyan 2 scene from the Cell games against Cell, Gohan then transforms. He is surrounded by a throbbing, glowing purple aura, and the camera angle starts from his feet and goes slowly up and up and up, and we see that he's attained grey and white hair, which is similar to Ultra Instinct, but his hair's 2 or 3 times longer with red pupils, and he looks completely different. I can't wait to see this, but he looks completely different from what I'm told. At this point, Cell Max goes for a huge punch directly into Gohan, and Gohan doesn't move an inch. He takes this blow head on and responds by saying, "Is that all you got?" Cell Max then goes for an all-out attack that looks like a giant black hole in the sky with a green aura around it, with so much force, it's almost destroying himself. Now, Piccolo sees an opening and he uses his stretchy arm form whilst in his orange form and locks Cell Max into place, and Gohan charges up and he uses a special beam cannon directly through the head of Cell Max to end him. Now, the unfortunate side of this is, as much as this ends Cell Max, we find out that Gamma 2 is revealed as dead. We do actually lose one of the Gamma androids, but Gamma 1 is still alive. However, Dr. Hedo says that himself and Gamma 1 should hand themselves into the police, given everything that's gone off, that he feels that they are to blame. Now, Piccolo says that they were tricked into it. It's not their fault. They should just move on and forget about it. It's not down to them that this all happened. To which Bulma offers them work under Capsule Corp, and that's kind of their arc all wrapped up and involved with the storyline. And then we see a happy Pan flying around because she's just happy that she can fly. She's learning how to fly. And then we fade to black and we do see credits. However, we do see an after-credit scene. We see Goku and Vegeta both worn out, still fighting on Beerus' planet, but Vegeta gets the upper hand. He delivers the winning weak blow to Goku, and then the credits are over. Go home. It's done. It's over. Let's wait 7 weeks until the English dub comes out in North America, the UK, all over Europe, and all that good stuff. I am very, very, very excited to seeing this played out on the big screen. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, please hit subscribe. It means a lot. Hit that like button. Let me know what you think to the story. If you're looking forward to it, if you enjoy it, if you hate it. Till then, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.